Hey guys, it's Amy and we are starting Digestion. So if this is the first time you're seeing this, I'm switching it up. I'm going through, instead of going in oil every week, we're going through an ailment every 1 to 2, 3 weeks, however long it takes me to give all the information or whatever questions that you have, however long it takes me. So I'm starting with digestion, even though overwhelmingly from the survey I posted last week, weight loss was the topic that you guys wanted to hear about most. But I have a rhyme and a reason for picking digestion. The reason is everything is linked to digestion. There are very few things going on in your body that you basically can just ignore your gut and your gut health. Everything is tied to it. So I wanted to tell you a story of something that personally happened to me, just to illustrate that a little bit better. So if you guys listen to my podcast, you may have heard the story already, so sorry, but it's good to hear it again. I went and did blood work with a chiropractor that Ray and I have known for a little bit. And I just was trying to figure out, because I've continued to have skin issues. I don't know if you can see, but I do have things on my face that, just being in my 30s, it's like I should be over the acne hump, but I still have it. I've been struggling with weight loss a little bit, despite the fact that I eat healthy, I work out consistently, all that. So I just was trying to figure out what was going on. So I did blood work called NutriValve. It's expensive, but it's once a year. I think it was like $400 or $500, but again, it's once a year, and this thing is super comprehensive. I'll post a couple of snapshots from my blood work so you can actually see how comprehensive it is. But anyway, so I waited for the results, and I also did a stool sample. I know it's kind of TMI, but hey, we're talking digestion, so we're gonna have to talk about those kinds of things. I did that because I wanted to check if I had candida, and to see candida is an overgrowth of bad bacteria, and I wanted to see if I had that. And one of the most accurate ways, there's other ways, but one of the most accurate ways is to do a stool sample. So I waited for my results, and when it came back, and like I said, I'm going to post some screenshots from my results. I was able to see that I was pretty deficient in I want to say B2. I can't remember now. B2, and there was some other things going on. But what really struck me, of course, I had to make an appointment with the doctor, and he went through, because there's some charts in the test you can read yourself, but some of them are like super doctory and comprehensive and just complicated. So and even reading the things that I could read myself, he obviously does this for a living and has been doing this for quite some time, and this is one of the things that he does a lot, taking people's blood work to see how their body's reacting to things. And basically he knows how things are tied into. He's like, oh, you're low in this and you're kind of on the cusp of this, so that could be causing this. So anyway, and I want to side note, getting blood work regular blood work at a doctor's office is not the same as this NutriValve. This is complete comprehensive. It tells you everything. When you do a regular blood work at a doctor's office, as long as you're in the range, they tell you you're fine. And the problem with that is, let's say this is the range, right? And you're right at the edge. They're going to tell you everything's great. But what if you're at the edge of that one and at the edge of another one, and that one's kind of low? What is that doing to your body? So anyway, so one of the things that came up with the doctor was that my gut was inflamed, and I had no idea. And so he's prescribed L-glutamine, which I'm going to talk to it as a pretty common supplement for gut health. And he also said to continue taking the doTERRA probiotics, which I am, because my good bacteria was fine. So from my stool sample, I had no candida, and he said, whatever you're taking for probiotics, keep taking them, because they're really good. So told me to continue taking that. But the reason I'm telling you this is that there were a couple of other supplements I had to take, and I'm not going to bore you with every single one and why. But my point was that he was trying to be tactful about it. He's like, well, I'm looking at this, and he's like, well, are you struggling to lose weight, or because I'm not overweight by any means, so he was trying to be nice about it. And I'm like, yeah, I actually have, I'm trying to lose a couple pounds, and I just can't. It's just not going anywhere. And he's like, well, this is why. He's like, you're not processing carbs and you're not processing fats. So think about that for a second. I'm not processing carbs properly, like at all, and I'm not processing fats properly at all either. So what's any diet? If you do, like, I know the keto's big right now. Keto is high fat. And I know, like, one of our trainers, Kelsey, she likes doing high carbs, low fat, right? So I actually tried that with her, just to, hey, I was willing to give anything a shot. Nothing. And neither thing was working long term for me because I wasn't processing those things. So I could, if I hadn't done this, I would have been banging my head against the wall trying to figure out, like, what the heck. Like, I'm working out 5 days a week consistently. I'm eating super healthy. I'm not saying I don't eat at anything bad ever. But when I do, like, if I have a cupcake, it's gonna be the most organic, like, good sugar kind of cupcake on the planet. And anything like that. If I'm gonna cheat, it's always gonna be like an elevated cheat. And most of the time I'm eating fruits, vegetables, you know, actual real food. So it's surprising, you know, that I've been struggling. So, and this explains it so much. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a weight lifted off my shoulders. All this time I've been trying to figure out, like, maybe I need to change this up, maybe I need to change that up. And no, it's my body is literally not processing two major things. There's only three. There's only proteins, carbs, and fats. And my body's not processing two of them. And on top of that, my gut is inflamed. So I'm not only not getting the nutrients that I need to get from the carbs and fats, and my body's not breaking it down properly, and God knows what that's causing. I'm also not, my gut is inflamed, so the nutrients that do get into my intestines, sorry about that. I think I cut off mid-sentence. I got a phone call and it cut me off. So anyway, so the reason I'm sharing this with you and telling you the story is because it's going to be anything that you're dealing with. If you have skin issues, if you're tired, if you have weight loss, if your hormones are out of whack, or whatever the case may be, all the other things that I posted, most of those start with your digestive health. So I want to start and talk about those things. And I've obviously been researching for this, like, about a month, about just all the stuff I want to talk about for this topic. And one of the things that I keep coming across that I never really, like, thought about it. I feel like you know, when something, like, somebody tells you something, you're like, yeah, I knew that, but you never really, like, connect the dots, I guess, was that your immune system is 80% your digestive system. So if your digestion is messed up, you can imagine what that's doing for your immune system. And if your immune system is jacked up, then you're just going to get sick all the time. Your body's not going to be able to handle anything that's thrown at it. So what to expect this week, I'm going to be going through foods that, like, probiotic rich foods, and not just like your typical yogurt. I know we think, like, Yoplait yogurt, it's yogurt, it has bacteria in it, it's good. That's not always the case. That's usually not the case because of the amount of sugar that they put in it. So what food rich proteins food rich probiotic rich foods that you can eat. Also supplements. Like I said, he was super impressed by my gut bacteria. Of course, the inflammation is not tied to it, but he said that my bacteria was really, really good. So I'm going to go through what probiotics I take, what enzymes I take. I do take the doTERRA enzymes as well, and other things and others, like supplements and oils that you can do for your digestive system. And things that you may want to do, like food combining. We're going to talk about that if you don't know what that is. Making sure that you are paying attention to when you're eating and what's happening when you're eating. Like, a lot of times we're like, oh, I always get a stomach ache when I eat this. Well, you need to, like, break down what you're actually eating so that you can cut it out, like cut something out for 2 weeks and then reintroduce it. And if you get the stomach pain, either you're allergic to it or is that something that you can have anymore. So that's what we're going to do this week and the next coming week, most likely, because it's going to be a lot of information. So that's it for now, and I'll see you next time.